Have you ever considered why you interpret information the way you do? I'm Carol Gravel, and my research paper is about a 1970s encoding-decoding theory and how it offers us clues about why and how the media industry changed to become more collaborative with the audiences it serves today. This research will help professional communicators better understand how the current media system works and draw insights into how we can better work with journalists. When Stuart Hall developed his encoding-decoding theory in the 1970s, it was different from the other media effects theories that had come before it. Specifically, Hall articulated that television and other media audiences were provided with encoded messages that communicated dominant ideological principles about the order of things in society. He theorized that citizens like you and me had an active role in critically interpreting the meaning of messages received from the media. Our interpretations of these messages would vary depending on our sociocultural backgrounds, such as language, personal experiences, and education, to name a few. What I found particularly interesting about Hall's encoding-decoding theory was how he referred to misunderstandings of messages, or those that had, and I'm using air quotes here, failed to get across. It was an indication that audience members had failed to take the meaning as broadcasters had intended. Could this be a clue as to why the media system in the mid-20th century had to become more participatory to accommodate their culturally diverse audiences? If media were feeling like their messages were failing to get across, how could they change? What form would this take? The answer was convergence. Initially touted as a cost savings measure in the 1990s, convergence was used by media organizations who wanted to harness the computer revolution. Audiences also got on board. They began using technological innovations in interconnected ways that had not been possible before. This challenged the dominantly defined and professionally signified, this is Hall's description, not mine, identity of the media establishment. Henry Jenkins, a cultural studies theorist, gave one example of this when he described media fans using VCRs to re-edit footage from their favorite television programs to share with their friends. Audience relationships with technologies, industries, and markets were changing. These new relationships with technology have paved the way for a new participatory culture that is not defined by, and I quote, dominant ideological principles about the order of things in society, as Hall articulated in the encoding-decoding theory. Instead, audience members are becoming more involved in newsmaking. An example of this includes those who participate in crowdsourcing. That's when citizens provide expertise to reporters in a collaborative way through interconnected technologies. As professional communicators, I think we possess a desire to improve the effectiveness of our messages. Stuart Hall's encoding-decoding theory is the best framework for examining today's modern media landscape, an environment which has become more inclusionary for audience members like us. Through an exploration of how misunderstandings can occur via media messaging to the acceptance of technological convergence, the theory speaks to the importance of meaningful communication. And this is something I think all professional communicators aspire to do. Thank you for listening.